David Violet here. Let's talk about note-taking for consecutive interpreting and shorthand. You know, sometimes I finish a consecutive with notes, and it's, several minutes long, and people come over and ask me, that was pretty accurate. How do you get all those numbers? How do you get everything down? Is that shorthand? Well, I'd like to answer that question for us today by using this slideshow. Let's take a look at some shorthand. There are various types of shorthand. I'm not an expert, but I found this on Wikipedia, and what I do know is that shorthand is based on sound, based on phonetics. These symbols that have been devised in this system, there are other systems, show how a person who is taking dictation can take very accurate verbatim dictation by writing shorthand, these symbols, these sorts of notes. Now, the question is, can that work for note-taking, for consecutive interpreting? Because that's our dire need, right? We want to take everything down and then be able to give it back. The answer is no. It doesn't work because we're having to change languages. If we are simply having to give back exactly what was said, we simply would have to be sort of like a tape recorder and give back exactly the same words. So, for example, a secretary who sits down, takes notation from somebody, and then goes and types it up, that person does not have to understand anything. It's simply catching all of the sounds, getting them down, and on the basis of those sounds, which have been transferred to symbols, on that basis to reproduce the original language version. Now, because this goes to the crux of note-taking for consecutive interpreting. When we interpret, we listen to what the person really is trying to say. We're listening to the meaning. We're not going to give back the same words. We're going to give back the meaning. So if someone is explaining to somebody else, okay, well, this is how you would fix this car. You'd have to first open up the hood, take apart the carburetor, and so on and so forth. And of course, when we are going to explain this in another language, we have to be thinking about, okay, the hood, where's that? We might be picturing it. The carburetor, okay, it's the thing that, takes in the fuel, and then whatever it does. And then we're going to understand all of that, and then we're going to turn to the target language person and say, here we go. This is how you proceed with this particular mechanical repair. So we're going from, in note-taking for consecutive interpreting, we're going from somebody's speech about something, we are thinking about it, we are remembering it, we are understanding it, and when we have the time now to interpret that to the target language audience, we take our knowledge of what was said, our memory of what was said, every little piece of it, and actually we will have that in our notes to help us, and we give it back in another language. Having the original language through shorthand is not really going to help us. Let me show you now a little bit about how we might look at some of these notes I'm talking about. Here on the left we have a text. Of course, the iron and steel industry relationship is not just about trade, etc. We are not going to go into this in depth, but you can see on the right that you have lots of words and lots of symbols, and they are distributed in a special way. Actually, at the top, this SVO stands for subject, verb, object, and what we're going to do in this particular case, well, in all cases, according to this system, is we have the verbs lined up down the middle, and the subjects on the left, and the objects on the right. We will use these types of symbols, and as you can see, for example, that's an eye with smoke coming out of it. It means industry. It is not going to give me the word, the English word industry. It's going to give me what it is. In fact, it helps me to picture a factory with smoke coming out. It's on the basis of the understanding of what was said, not on the words that were originally used, because the target language audience would not understand those words. We're going to have to find other words in a target language, right? So that's the difference. Let's look back again at the shorthand. It would be certainly very handy if we could use shorthand, learn shorthand, and on that basis do consecutive with notes, but it's not possible because, as I said, shorthand is based on phonetics. You don't really have to understand in order to completely and accurately reproduce the original language version. What we have to do is produce the message, the substance, the information, the ideas. We have to reproduce those in another language, in the target language. And for that, we have a system of note-taking that's been worked out through many years, and that's something that I teach. I'm going to show you now a few things that you can use if you want to have access to some of the things that I'm teaching. Now, first of all, this is a free mini course. You can use this QR code to have access to that. It's a short course on how to use and how to invent symbols. Then there is my complete course on note-taking for consecutive interpreting, a recorded course with videos, text, and quizzes, and you can access that, and for now it's to be on a waiting list with this second QR code. If you would like to join our Facebook group to practice, you would use this third QR code. It's a collection of people that I'm working with who find practice partners, people who have complementary languages, the same languages they do, and they can practice together, and we practice occasionally. Right now we are doing practice sessions once a week. We just started up again now in May 2021. We did almost 2 every week from July 2020 to December 2020. They were all free, and for now they're still free. For this, if you would like to join us, please use this QR code and join our practice group. Here also, David Violet YouTube's, that's maybe where you're seeing me right now. Anyway, you can use that QR code to get access to my YouTube channel. And then if you would just like to know a little bit more about me, davidviolet.com, that's the URL, and you can use that that QR code to see my website, see who I am, see my past, see all of those things. So there you have it, David Violet, conference interpreter and trainer, San Francisco, California. I hope to see you soon. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, please give us a like below. And also, I would like to know what you think. Have you ever used shorthand? Do you disagree with me? Do you think it would be useful for taking notes? What are your thoughts on that? Please write your comments or your questions below. And also, please, if you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, see you later.